You know, one of the things I love about this job is you get to chat to people, and we have got two very, very nice ladies here, and I have to say they're both very easy on the eye. First of all, we say good morning to Annette and to Marcia. Thanks for coming in, ladies.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us.
Well, you see, I thought, start with a compliment. It can only go downhill from here. Annette, you're from a company called Publicity Genie, and in this society that we have where people are all using social media and Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of it, I'm guessing that you're sort of trying to educate as well as help people just to get their names out there, to get the stories out there. But one of the things that you and I were chatting about is how things have changed. In the old days, you used to read your kids a story at night and you would go back and read chapter 2 the next night and whatever. Now you've got to tell your whole story in 140 characters. How can you do that?
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? And I think if we even go back a little step there, is that people are reticent to tell their story because they don't want to seem like they're big-noting themselves or they're better than what they are. You know, that great tall poppy syndrome, who wants to be cut down. So how do you tell your story? Where do you tell your story? And who really wants to listen? And now when you've got Periscope, Blab, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, and I'm sure I'm missing some that's probably being invented right now, is how do you know which one to be on? And how do you know what to say? It's like it's crazy.
And the trouble is you've got all this etiquette. For example, we were chatting about LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, although you can tell people you've got a business, you're not really supposed to contact somebody and say, I'd like to tell you what my business is all about. It's much more sort of just going via the back door, which obviously somebody from the UK is kind of different here. What about the etiquette these days for emails? I mean, when emails started, you sent somebody an email, you expected a reply. Now it can be 3 or 4 days or a week before you get a response.
And I think that's because we are inundated with information and with content. And even if you just look at advertising now, every day we're exposed to about 5,000 pieces of marketing. So how do you know what to pay attention to and what's right for you and your business or your family? Because it's not just about business, is that we've got kids, we've got families, social lives. Where do we go to eat? Because everybody's bombarding us with content, and those rules are complicated. You know, they're as complicated as Queensland's transport rules. You know,
Don't you get me started on transport. That's our top 10 list today. Is things you're going to see on the roads for sure. And it is difficult. We'll be chatting to Marcia in a minute, who's got a new business, and it is difficult, but not just for new businesses, for established businesses as well. People that maybe 10, 15 years ago would have taken an advert out on Yellow Pages. That's what you did, and you waited for the phones to ring. That doesn't happen now.
No, now you've got to be a lot more aggressive as a small business. If you're not on, 3 or 4 of these different types of platforms, you're going to get overlooked because there'll be people like me who are really good at putting myself out there that are just going to, walk all over you electronically because I understand the rules of the game and I understand what the message needs to be. So starting out as a small business, it's fraught with danger.
Sure. And people also think if they have a nice jazzy website with lots of buttons to push, that's going to do the trick. It's pointless having a website if nobody's going to visit.
That's right. If you're not leading them anywhere. And that's a mistake I see a lot with small business owners, is that they'll post something on Facebook and it doesn't go anywhere. You know, what happens if, I was telling you, I got banned from Facebook last week. I'm a terrible person. I posted a picture of my dog. Still don't understand why. But if you're on Facebook and that's where your business is and Facebook shuts down, what's going to happen to your business? Your website is your prime real estate. Everything's got to lead back to your website.
And it's the same a lot of people. I mean, I do occasionally on LinkedIn, I'll put a blog there on Pulse, but I also save it on my website because if LinkedIn disappears tomorrow, that's my blog gone.
And your website is, you own the domain name, you own the hosting, you own the landscape of it. No one can take that off you unless, of course, there's an apocalypse and we wipe out everything electronic, and we'll have to go back to talking to each other.
Which is going to lead us nicely when we chat to Marcia after this next track. We'll find out about talking to each other, and she has got a product, which I'll tell you, and it's not just the ladies that'll be interested in this. She's got a product that many, many people will be interested in, so we'll be finding about that in a couple of seconds from now.
I know I can't take one more step towards you.
What a great tune. And if you just joined us, where have you been? Mike Bennett on Logan City's 101 FM. Now, I love it when we can kind of tell you stories and give you exclusives and let you know stuff that nobody else is letting you know. We've got a lovely lady called Marcia, and she has an invention. First of all, thanks very much for coming in here. When did, for want of a better expression, when did the light come on with this idea that you've had?
About a couple of years ago, I was in a very vulnerable situation in a dark car park, digging in the bottom of my handbag, trying to find my keys. And my thought was, if I had a light in this bag and it would help me find the keys, it would be fantastic. And the next day, I Googled light in handbag and couldn't find anything. So that's pretty much how it was born.
Wow. So literally the light really did come on. So technically, without going into too many details, how does this work?
So the light fits into most handbags. It fits in as an external feature, and it works pretty much the same way as a fridge door works. You open up your handbag, the light goes on, and you can find all of your stuff at the bottom of your bag. Which is brilliant. And I'm guessing it's some kind of battery operated? It's a rechargeable lithium battery. So an added feature is you can charge your mobile phone off the light for an emergency charge. So it gets better by the second. And I'm guessing, I'm one of these modern males. I've got a man bag, as my wife calls it. It would work a treat because everything goes to the bottom of that bag. Everything. Handbag, man bag, any bag. Fantastic. So here's the difficult bit, right? You've invented this, okay? How do you get it out there onto the high street? How do you market it? How do you promote it? Well, that is very, very tricky. And often with big corporations, you have to get past the gatekeeper, which is really hard. I've decided to keep this one in-house, and I'm going to be marketing via Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign starting on the 29th of January. So for those that don't know what that means, how does it all work? So on Kickstarter, you can pre-order the product at a reduced price before it goes to market. So you have bragging rights that you got the product before it went to market. You can also be part of the journey of getting it to market. So you receive regular updates on what is happening and how it's happening and any issues and how they're resolved. So it's quite an exciting process. There's a program on TV, in fact, we really enjoy watching it. It's called Shark Tank, where people take their inventions, take their ideas. Any plans to go on that? No. It's too terrifying. Yeah, but you've got a good product. I can just imagine one or two of the sharks looking at that thinking, yeah, that'd be pretty good for me. I'd fancy that. With Shark Tank, they invest in your company, and at this point, I'd like to keep it to myself. Which, again, fully understood if it's your baby. What about things like patents and all of this? Where are we? Because what I don't want to do is somebody's listening to this morning thinking, oh, I can invent that and get it out to Kmart. So I do have a registered patent. That's all been done and sorted. And the next step is to really just get it out to market. Sounds fantastic. So Annette, obviously you're involved with people like Marcia, you're involved with companies like this. How difficult is it? You mentioned gatekeeper. How difficult is it to get past that gatekeeper? If you're going into business for the first time and you've been an employee, it can be very overwhelming and daunting because you've got no idea where to start. And for most of us in small business, we don't have a marketing budget. So it's being able to find those really cost-effective ways to connect with people. Social media is fantastic. Coming onto radio programs like yours is awesome. So it's just about, for Marcia, she is confident in her product, which is the first step. Believe in what you're doing and know that you've got something that other people want, and then either connecting with someone like me who can open a few doors for you by showing you how to get your story into the hands of people who can get it into the hands of even more people. So Marcia's story is amazing because she's worked in the fashion industry, never invented anything in her life, and just believed in herself and went, I'm going to go for it, and it's an awesome product. So you just had that eureka moment, and people are thinking, oh, why didn't I think of that? But you did. So there you go. It's like Post-it notes or liquid paper. It's like, really? And every time I think about it, I go, a light for your handbag. You're kidding. Like, oh my God, what a great idea. Wish I'd thought of that. Yeah, I wish I'd thought of that as well. Very quickly, we were chatting a little while ago about media in general and traditional media. It's all changed. And although people are saying that the newspaper industry is dying, we've just taken a subscription out to the Gold Coast Bulletin. I like a newspaper. I like to have it. And when a mosquito comes, you can't chuck your iPad at it. You got to go with a newspaper. But citizen journalism seems to be taking over now. You and I, anybody with an iPhone or a Samsung, and you get good quality stuff. How can the traditional media compete with that, in your opinion? I don't think that they can. I think that that's why newspapers are dying, because, or
radio or TV news is it doesn't have the impact that it used to, and they're so fixated on the bad news stories, which is good if you're in crisis management, but for everyday regular folk like us who are just promoting a business, being able to pick up your phone, podcast, record, videotape, and then get it out through social media, it doesn't cost you anything except for whatever you've got to pay in your data usage.
And I think people are getting fed up that with all this doom and gloom and bad news, and it's just nice to have some good news, which is why when Marcia chatted to me about this invention, I mean, it is great, and hopefully even just a little bit by coming on here today, people might think, wow, what a great idea, and if they've got inventions and ideas, they can come and chat to us here.
And community radio is citizen journalism. I mean, you volunteer your time, so...
Because nobody else will have me, Annette. I mean, let's face it. And you can understand that, truth be told.
He's got a face for radio.
Just when you were thinking, I really like this lady. Anyway, much as I'd love to chat to you all day, obviously we've got to play some music as well. Marcia, I wish you every success with your new venture, and come back and let us know how it all goes.
I definitely will. When Bags Ablaze makes it into every handbag, I'll be back to tell you all about it.
See, she's got that well and truly sorted out. And I might invite you back. I don't know. It all depends. See how I feel. But thank you both ever so much for coming into Logan's 101 FM. And we'll have some more interviews for you on the show, same time next week.